Blog Talk Radio.
It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all hot dogs.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Here's Gingy.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I have pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Have you checked the children?
Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? I think he's in trouble.
Too weak disguise. He can't take a joke. He stinks.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
Just a flesh wound.
Good evening, Flesh Wound Radio freaks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Horror Society Presents Flesh Wound Radio. I am Daniel Shine, joined once again by Todd Loya. Todd, how goes, well, the last couple weeks? We were off last week.
Yes, we were. That's been good. Yourself? Busy as always. A little too busy, but depends on the day.
Pretty good. It's going better than Adam Rose. I can't complain. That was.
Careful. Don't offend anyone this week.
Oh, yes. I'm not going to talk about it, but I did offend, in the 80s and 90s in particular, favorite celebrity from probably many of your childhoods, but I still maintain, and I even asked a couple people that was bullshit, but I did horribly offend a certain celebrity with a certain post that kind of had something to do with what you were doing over the last week. You know what makes it worse is go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's one of those things where it's the PC term switches so often you don't know which one's right.
Yes. I'm kind of tempted to talk about it, but I'm not going to. But considering the title of what you were at, And I think I made it a little bit worse because at first I thought he was joking, and then after another back and forth, I realized he wasn't joking. So yeah, I was offending celebrities over the last couple of weeks. That's what I did. but yes. Now I can't even ask you about where you were at because that kind of gives it away. But how was the sporting event?
It was, I expect it to be more like freak show wrestling. I don't know. I hope I'm not offending any freaks that are listening. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's Sin Bodhi's Federation, which is more of a show than an actual wrestling event. And
yeah, it's kind of a mishmash. I've heard of it.
Yeah. And it was, that's kind of the expectations I had going in, but it was actually a wrestling show. I was kind of surprised.
Mm-hmm.
A little spotty for my taste, but
no pun intended.
Yes, no. I'm not able to go there. No Leprechaun origin story showed up. It was a week too.
Yeah.
Week too early. We'll get into that later.
You've got the Bull too. They're both free agents now, so it's possible. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the releases this week is our brief side wrestling rant, because I've been meaning to ask you. Any surprise you? There's only one that I'm pissed about.
Which one? Brooklyn Brawler?
No, Damian Sandow.
I figured. Yeah, although the one that shocked me the most was Brooklyn Brawler. But
a little bit, only because you got to think he's got some fucking dirt. I mean, what is 30, 35 years, something like that?
Yeah. He's going to share all the Patterson stories now.
Yes. That will be a kick-ass book. I haven't bought a wrestling book in a while, but if he writes one, I would get it.
And what was his name? You know, after they fired their longtime, what was the bellkeeper's name? God, it escapes me at the moment. But he was the bellkeeper forever and ever.
Yeah.
Mike Chioda? No, that's
I know.
I know it. I was like, anyone can go. I mean, the only one that I will like, the last one that'll shock me would be if they release Howard Finkel.
Oh, yes, that's true. Is he still officially under contract, though? Because I didn't think he was. I thought he was just a once-in-a-while kind of Legends deal type thing.
He works, or he did for years and years. I don't know if he still has the same position, but he did something in the home video department. So even when he wasn't on,
maybe
even when he wasn't on TV. Yeah, but the problem with that is, I don't know. I don't know how their home video department's doing. I'm looking forward to some of their upcoming releases, but they have a Eric Bischoff documentary and Scott Hall one.
The Hall one might be interesting. I don't know. They've covered a lot of Bischoff. I don't know if. I mean, that could be good. I mean, there's always more to tell, but I'm not too sure. I was going to say, you've got to take advantage of the half-off Feed Me More T-shirts right now on WWE Shop.
But he's a heel. He won't get any money from that.
That's true. Yes, that is true. I think I actually think she was going to get released anyways, personally. I know a lot of people are saying it's because of that tweet, but yeah, that was a pretty boneheaded tweet from Cameron. I think that that may have sealed the deal.
I didn't see the tweet.
It was something pretty basic. It was something like "Amen, brother," something along those lines, but she deleted it pretty fast, but just like Jessica Havoc's Nazi stuff, they find it. Somebody screenshots everything.
She had the Ryback post, I'm guessing.
Yeah, she commented on it. She basically agreed with them. Of course.
Yeah,
they're saying that's why she was released, but I kind of think that was coming.
Did none of them learn from Chad Gaspar on release days? Do not have any social media presence. The motherfuckers. No, it was JTG. Excuse me. He survived like how many Black Fridays?
He survived quite a few, and I kept wondering. I'm like, God, he must like have some pictures of like McMahon or something with Hornswoggle, because I mean, it just didn't make any sense. They weren't doing anything with him for forever. I will ask you this, though, because it's not the last round of cuts. Who do you see going? For me, next round I'm calling it Jack Swagger's gone. I just have a strong feeling he's gone. Maybe Rosa Mendez finally. She's one that's she's avoided some Black Fridays.
Yeah, I think right now with her pregnant, they don't want another Dawn Marie situation. I'm sure she's popped the kid out.
Well, she had her kid.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know. But she's still a new mom. You kind of want to wait a bit.
Yeah. Summer Rae, probably, I'm thinking maybe.
God,
I don't know.
I never got her appeal. She's kind of just... She's not attractive. And now that they got Maurice...
No, she's not.
What the fuck do they need Summer Rae for?
Yeah, when she came in, that was kind of my thought too. I'm like, I mean, of course, Summer can work a little bit, but I don't think she's at a level that she's gonna kind of have the Alicia Fox job or role.
And they never used her to really work.
Yeah. So I think she's gone. I'm not sure who else. I don't know if there's going to be any other surprises. Sandow's just, I don't get how a guy can get over like he has, even going way back. I was a mark for that guy in the Aaron the Idol Stevens days,
right.
way back. And just for whatever reason, somebody doesn't like him or is just not a fan, because guy always gets over, takes the dumbest shit and makes it work, and, well, he's gone.
Yet, doesn't his tag team partner still have Joe Hennig? I can't think of his gimmick name.
Oh, Curtis Axel, yes.
Thank you. I'm glad he didn't get cut, but he's stuck in Ted DiBiase land at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's kind of hard after a while to. I could still see Bo Dallas possibly at some point getting rebooted, but I mean, particularly he's like 25. I mean, he's still pretty young. I think Axel's in his late 30s.
Just have him grow his beard, make him a Wyatt.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Outcasts might go, because I've noticed less of a focus on them on the mic lately, which might be a bad sign.
Well, Adam Rose is gone.
Yes.
You still have the other three. I don't know. I think they like Heath Slater because they keep putting him in programs, and he's all over the network.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he fills his role. It's a role that needs to be filled. They could be okay. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Mark Henry's gone anyways. I mean, they're just letting his contract run out. I just don't see anybody else earth-shattering that they might release. There's been some rumor that there's some veteran right now that's partying too hard and not working very safe. I'm not sure who it might be. There's maybe a handful of possibilities, but we will see. We will see. But, you know, your Raw and SmackDown is going to be Ryback free now, so I'm sure you're happy.
Yeah, I know. I'm really going to miss the big guy.
Well, on that note, I guess we'll get...
I was just saying, can't wait for him to show up on Impact.
I don't think it'll happen because I think it's more money than anything else, and I just don't think they can afford him. I think he'll go to Japan possibly. I actually see him going the route of a Vader, personally. That's what I see. Now, I could see Barrett going to TNA if he decides to continue in wrestling. I know there's some talk that he might be moving on to other stuff, but we'll see. So on that note, into the horror. It's a horror show, of course.
I did just find a piece of news that Kevin Bacon reveals plans for a Tremors miniseries. That
really?
Well, they're working on it. A 10-episode miniseries is the plan right now.
Wow, that is like the franchise that keeps going. I mean, you would think. I mean, awesome premise, and of course, you know, love the first movie, and the last one I think actually delivered quite a bit. But I never would have thought all those sequels, a TV series, and now a mini series. I mean, I think that's wild. I mean, that you can get that much mileage out of it. I'm pretty excited to see it. I hope it doesn't ignore the recent movies.
Yeah.
Particularly with the last one being so good. But it'd be pretty cool to see Bacon and Gross back together again.
What, no love for Fred Ward?
Oh, he can bring Fred Ward back, too. Maybe he can get Time Rider 2 made after that one, if it does well enough.
Okay.
Time Rider to the AARP years. God, you gave me a flashback to, which one was it? The Crow Salvation, I believe it was, where he was playing the villain in that. It's like just good actor, but very miscast in that one.
Yeah.
Very kind of odd role for him, but I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know, Andy Griffith playing like an occult type villain. Just I don't know, there's something off about it, but maybe it's as good as The Crow. But yeah, we have a couple news bits. Nothing earth-shattering, but Pacific Rim 2 appears to still be on. That's been something they seem to go back and forth whether that was going to happen or not, because of course, there seems to be, Godzilla 2 and then Kong versus Godzilla. But it has found a writer in Derek Connolly, who is very busy right now. He's been doing the Daredevil series, and I think he's done Jurassic World, done a lot of stuff. So it seems like it's still going to happen. I mean, they've got Godzilla stuff booked through, I think, 2020 right now. So you might be waiting a little bit for it. But I'm pretty glad that they're going to do a sequel. I actually really liked Pacific Rim. It's a shame it did those monster numbers that they were hoping, but I guess it did well enough internationally that we'll see the follow-up. So that's good news. Code Red, and I know I'm missing other stuff he's announced because, god damn, what is it, like well over 50 titles now. But one that I vaguely remember being pretty good from the late 70s, I believe, Screams of a Winter Night is coming to Blu-ray, 1978 film. I posted the trailer on our Facebook page, if that jogs anybody's memory, but I kind of remember seeing that back in the day. I don't know if I saw it on a cheap set or what, but I do kind of recognize it. So that is coming, as well as Nam Angels, and I think I mentioned Black Candles, which is a great film. I'm really excited for that one. Also hitting Blu-ray. Tons and tons of stuff. There's several Code Red Facebook pages, so you can join them if you really want to keep up with what's going on, because I'm not exaggerating when I say I think it's over 50 titles that have been announced that hopefully we'll be getting soon. The other big news, and I'm pretty excited about this. I haven't watched it in a little while, but Adult Swim has announced that Robot Chicken is doing a Walking Dead special. I am very excited about that. Their Star Wars stuff was really funny, so I'll definitely be tuning in. Are you a Robot Chicken fan?
Yes, I watched it religiously in the beginning, and I just kind of fell out of the habit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind, but I'll be watching the Walking Dead special. I think that'll be
absolutely
pretty amusing. You liking Camp WWE?
For the record, I think that the bear thing was consensual.
Hopefully.
My biggest complaint, this is really a stupid one, but Cena and Austin should not be the same age. He should be a teenager with Triple H.
That's true. But I was going to say a goth kid Undertaker has potential to be one of the better characters.
Yeah.
Anybody you still want to see on the show?
Jeez. I don't know.
If they want to get dark, I'm going to say Pat Patterson is a camp counselor. I think the in-jokes might be a little bit much for them, but hey, Austin drops the F-bomb, so, it's not... It's dirtier than I expected. It's not as filthy as some animated shows, but it's still dirtier than I expected them to go, to be honest. I was kind of thinking this was going to be more Ren and Stimpy, not so much South Park.
Yeah, I still don't think it goes to that extreme, but yeah, out of the two, it's closer to South Park. But it's interesting.
It is. But let's see. What else do we have? I think that was... Oh, well, the only other news bit, there's not much to say about it, but some photos of Laverne Cox from the Rocky Horror Picture Show reboot as Dr. Frankenfurter have surfaced, and people are pretty mad about that. I like Rocky Horror. I've never been a Rocky Horror fanboy, so I'm kind of indifferent to it. I have a very strong feeling this is not going to be very good, but I always go in with an open mind. But yeah, I know a lot of people are particularly upset. It's not looking like the Rocky Horror they grew up with. You a Rocky Horror fan, Todd?
I've always been the same as you. I've watched it on occasion. I'm not a diehard. My musical's always been Little Shop of Horrors, so.
There you go. There you go.
Of course, later in life, who can forget Poultrygeist?
Yeah, Poultrygeist is actually well up there. That is a film that I think is a great musical and doesn't get its proper due outside of Troma fans. But anyways, with that being said, on to our reviews for the evening. I hope you guys appreciate it. And, of course, we're keeping it for last, of course, for those of you with sensitive ears. Can't be many of you left. I think we've driven you off by now. But Todd and I think, watched this Vinegar Syndrome Pono set that we're going to be reviewing later on. What would you say, Todd? I think we watched maybe about 12 to 14 hours of pornography this week. For all of you listeners, we made the sacrifice.
Yes, and it only took Dan, a break every 15 or so minutes.
Yes. Yes, I was. God, I'm sitting here. I'm still, I think, like my eyes are bloodshot, and I think I'm in the same clothes from yesterday. So, yeah, that's a monster set that will be. Although oddly enough, my shorts have changed a couple times, but that was a big ass set, and we almost got through it all. But we will have a review for that later. So what should we kick it off with? Tonight's one of those nights where it could kind of go any way, really. There's not like a one is anticipated over the other. So I guess we'll do Submerged first. First film I watched. All right, so this is from director Stephen C. Miller, who is actually one, if memory serves me, Chris had a bit of a fight with once. I think I remember him telling me a story about that.
Yeah.
Not physical, but, From the back cover, a limousine joyride goes berserk in this breathless, pulse-pounding thriller. Jonathan Bennett stars as an ex-soldier turned bodyguard to hire. See, I'm stumbling on my words. That said, I'm still burnt out.
Too much porn.
As an ex-soldier turned bodyguard hired to protect a young woman. But while cruising with a group of friends one night, their stretch limo is run off the road and into the water by a gang of ruthless kidnappers, who then dive in to finish the job. Suddenly, it's sink or swim as the bodyguard must fight to keep the vehicle from becoming a watery grave. This edge-of-your-seat thriller, directed by Stephen C. Miller, also stars Cody Christian, Tallulah Riley, Rosa Salazar, Mario Van Peebles, and Tim Daly. You at least heard of the final two, I'm sure. So I remember hearing about this and, kind of thinking of, like, Ryan Reynolds and Buried and Oxygen, actually, another kind of obscure one with a similar premise, and thinking it could be cool, although I have to say one issue I had with this And I know they said it was a reinforced car, and they went over that in the flashbacks and whatnot, but don't you think this was a pretty far-fetched idea that car could be down there and not completely filled with water rather fast? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I had a hard time buying into the premise.
Yeah, once that water started coming out, I was like, oh, they're fucked now.
Yeah.
And they're chewing their bubble gum and trying to steal that shit up. I was like, really? Motherfucker needs to pull out a cock gun or something. Yeah, some big red. We got it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just had a hard time buying it, and the way it kind of unfolded, I'm like, God, that car, I don't know. I mean, they weren't in the ocean or anything, but it just seemed to me that I just didn't quite buy it. And this director has kind of, I don't know, he's never, it's never a god-awful film, but he often doesn't deliver for me. And I have to say, it didn't work here either. I thought the characters were kind of, most of them kind of whiny bitches, to be perfectly honest, which hurts because the flashbacks, most of the movie is flashbacks of shit that, the brother ODing and all this different, drama that I quite frankly just wasn't into. And that was at least 75% of the movie, so that's a pretty big problem. Todd, what did you think? I mean, I don't know. This one just didn't work for me.
Yeah, I was on the same page. I was hoping, we just have it in the car and then we had to pull some alive scenario and, It was just, the characters were kind of unlikable, a lot of them, and you called out the whiny bitchiness. But, that's what this young generation all can relate to, so maybe we're just too old for this one.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, though, if I can explain it away as everybody born after the 80s is a complete douche. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there was just too much bitching and not enough of a connection and chemistry with the characters. I mean, I wouldn't say any of the actors were awful, but I don't know, it kind of felt like, I don't know, Disney Channel kids just got cast in a horror movie kind of deal. It just didn't work for me too good.
And that was the other thing. I was like, I wouldn't even categorize this as a horror film.
No, not really. It's, I guess, thriller, really, which sometimes I hate that because some people, if it's a more movie that the mainstream can embrace, they won't call it a horror film. It's a thriller. Silence of the Lambs, for example. Yeah. It's a horror film. But this one I'm going to say, since it's shit, I will call it a thriller.
See, I'm not even going that route. Even if I loved it, I'd be like, yeah, but it wasn't a horror film. I don't think, your car getting submerged in water makes it a horror film. If Jaws comes through,
I mean, it's probably just as much an action film.
Yeah. If Jaws came through and ate them all, it would have been a better movie. But even if it was Jaws 4, exploding shark and all.
Yeah, trapped in a car with a shark or something. I mean, that might have been interesting. I mean, there were some twists here. I mean, this is another one. Maybe some people like it, but one twist in particular, considering the actor, I kind of saw coming a mile away. I don't know about you, but I don't know. I just wasn't that engaged. I was engaged in it up to a point. The flashbacks, the weak, very unengaging drama. Because, again, like I said, I love those films, trapped wherever, trapped in a room or buried, trapped in a coffin. I think those can work if you do it right. If you get the right actor, right director, it can really come off as very claustrophobic. This one was just a bunch of whiny bitches in a car talking about who sucked whose dick and going on about the most ridiculous stuff for the situation they're in, and it just didn't work for me at all. It really didn't. It is always cool to see Mario Van Peebles, I will say that, actor that has sadly not worked as much. Maybe just not in stuff I'm watching, but he hasn't worked a whole lot. But he was the man back in the day, Gunman, Posse. The guy certainly put out some good flicks, but
Surviving the
badass.
Game?
Surviving the Game? That's Ice-T.
No, wrong one.
You've got your black guys mixed up, Todd. God damn it, that's racist. Now you offended Mario Van Peebles.
I thought they were both in it. I knew Ice-T's in it.
No, Peebles wasn't in Surviving the Game. Peebles was...
okay.
No, it was Ice-T was in that. Rutger Hauer, of course. No Mario Van Peebles. I recall.
Well, you named all the Mario Van Peebles movies I knew then.
Badass, Posse, Highlander, Final Dimension. He had a good little run. He's directing now, but this is not the comeback film for you Peebles fans. And Todd, you kind of had that moment where the reporter asked Samuel L. Jackson about his Super Bowl commercial, and it was Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh yeah. Wait. New Jack City. There we go. That's why I got it confused, because that's got Ice-T and Mario Van Peebles.
Okay, well, there you go.
I'm just going with that.
You've redeemed yourself partially.
I don't even know how that happened.
I could have let it go, but I know somebody was going to catch that, so I had to point it out.
I pictured Ice-T in my head, and I yelled out the first fucking Ice-T movie that popped in. So that's why I remember. That's why I remember them on screen together. And God, I used to love New Jack City. I should know better.
I haven't watched that in forever. That is a good film, though. How the hell I'll have to go out? I don't think I own that on Blu-ray, actually. See, we're talking about other stuff because Submerged was just so underwhelming.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and rate it. It gets 1 star for me. Maybe a semi-interesting premise, although I really, really didn't buy it, and it isn't that interesting. Predictable plot twists, and I don't know.
I give it a 2, because I think there might be some suspense fans out there that like it, thrillers, whatever. But even then, I think you'll still be disappointed, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And this director, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of his Silent Night either. Although that was a little better than this, but that kind of left me high and dry.
Yeah. But at least there was some fun bits in Silent Night.
Yeah, there were.
Even if
there were. I can't really point to much in this.
Yeah.
The star, the bodyguard, kind of came off like an ex-boy band member. I don't know. It was just wasn't casted very well, but hey, it is what it is. So that's Submerged. I'd avoid it, although a lot of you will get it anyways because it's part of the Scream Factory IFC deal, but don't mark that down as a must. It's not Dark Hall bad, but it is one of their worst, because IFC is usually pretty good, but this is not one of those films. So moving on. Oh, go ahead, Todd. Didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say, well, because yes, IFC, but it's also Scream Factory. Was Dark Hall just Scream Factory, or was that an IFC one too?
I think that actually was just Scream. I think that predated the IFC thing. Either that or it would have been like one of the first. But yeah. Yeah, although I will say Baskin is coming out. So that's going to redeem pretty much everything. We reviewed that already. But if you haven't pre-ordered the Baskin Blu-ray, if you're a Hellraiser fan, you missed our show, I guess, 3 weeks ago or whatever it's been, you will want to get that one. That was, go back and listen to our review because I love that movie. But anyways, next movie, well, let's do Amelie or Emily. Can't really recall how she pronounced it, but Emily. We'll just go with the obvious. From director Michael Phelan.
No, I think they said Emily. I was just going to say yes. That sounds right.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't want to give away why it wouldn't be as obvious, but from the back cover, as their parents head out for a date in the city, the three young Thompson children immediately take to their new babysitter, Anna, who seems like a dream come true. She's sweet, fun, and lets them do things that break all of their parents' rules. But as Anna's interactions with them take on a more sinister tone, the kids realize that their caretaker may not be who she claims to be, and soon it's up to Big Brother Jacob to protect his siblings from the increasingly nefarious intentions of a very disturbed woman. Featuring a tour de force performance from Bolger and its three young leads, Emily is a multi-dimensional, nail-biting thriller that proves trust can be the most deadly of weapons. So, Todd, what did you think? This one was kind of under the radar, and I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect from this one because I was just like, you suggested. I looked it up. Dark Skies got a pretty solid track record, so I was like, let's go for it. And it's not without its problems, but I really ended up enjoying this one. It was, not what I was expecting. I don't know if it's the fact that I'll eventually be having to deal with a babysitter, so I guess this is can be a frightening thought. But, I won't be watching The Hand That Rocks the Cradle anytime soon, but I did.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mhm. Oh no, go ahead.
I was there. I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is a very simple premise that works. Psycho babysitter. I'm sure. I mean, I don't have kids, but I can imagine having to leave your kid with somebody that you basically just don't know, especially if you can't afford a well-reviewed nanny. It's a scary premise. This is kind of a good bad review at the same time, so I'll start with the good. The actress who played Anna, Sarah Bolger, it's not a spoiler to say that Emily's her real name. I don't know why I said it was a spoiler. That's kind of obvious that she's not what she appears to be, so they give that away from the back cover. Sarah Bolger, fantastic. Very, very awesome performance, actually. She's somebody that I would really like to see do more work in the genre. She's on that Into the Badlands show, I believe, that I haven't yet watched. It's been on my DVR. Great job, great psycho bitch performance from her in this one. I think I liked the first half or so more than the second half. I think once her intentions are made clear, it becomes a little more pedestrian. Not bad, just a little more, oh, okay, seen it before sort of deal. But the first half, some of the shit that goes down between her and the kids, in particular, a few really kind of disturbing, not gory so much, but just disturbing scenes, the tampon thing, making the kids watch the parents' sex tape. Yes.
That's private. I was died at that line.
I wanted him to come in and start to get outraged, but then just kind of sit down and start watching. But there were a couple real holy shit, what the fuck kind of kind of moments when she starts to let the psycho out, which is fairly early. And I think the child actors did quite well.
And it does progress. It's not like all of a sudden, because like you mentioned, the tampon scene, then we get to the porno scene. It's not just like, you get to see the crazy build a little, which was nice.
Yes, and the worst thing that ever happened to a hamster since Richard Gere. Although, no, that was a gerbil, but still, it was, yes, no real animal cruelty, but yeah, there was an incident between the babysitter and the girl's hamster. But yeah, I really liked that portion the most. After that, it kind of became a little more run of the mill, more, you like I said again, you've seen it before, no big surprises, but the actors really carried this one. I think that hell, there's even a sequel tease, and who knows, maybe this could be like the next Stepfather, because that was kind of the movie I was thinking of a lot when I was watching this, as a interesting double bill that you could have if you were inclined. And yeah, like I said, the first half is really, really good. They don't quite keep up the momentum like I hoped, but nonetheless, I still enjoyed this one quite a bit. I don't think it's a must-buy. I don't think it's a classic film by any means, as some people are calling it, but I think it's a great Redbox rental, if nothing else. I would almost be tempted to say, like, the last half is like almost felt like a Lifetime original thriller that my mom would watch. But you kind of have the more sadistic first half, so it's not exactly accurate. Hell, Stepfather is something you could almost see on Lifetime now, so it's got one of those storylines.
I don't hear that. Chris has been saying that for years.
Much better, but the basic premise. I love Stepfather. That's Terry O'Quinn is the man, but
yes.
Just saying.
I will never.
I've never watched Lifetimes. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Liar.
I don't know. I might have. A young Dan might have hoped to have seen Drew Barrymore naked in the Amy Fisher movie, but that's about it. It didn't happen, so I was disappointed. That was it for Lifetime. I don't know. Anything else you have to say about Emily?
No. Did you already say your rating, or no? No, you're about to.
Oh, I am about to. God, this one's tough. I give it a 3. It probably could have gotten a 3.5, but like I said, it did kind of lose a little momentum towards the end for me. But I give it a 3. The acting's great. I think it's a great rental. I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy it, although then again, I think this is like a $9.99 Blu-ray, so I certainly don't mind having it in my collection.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I give it a 3.5. I do agree it falls apart. It doesn't necessarily fall apart in the end. It just becomes a lot more standard, I think.
I think the finale could have been a little more taut, too. And there were a couple questionable decisions by the kids, but of course they're kids, so, you kind of can explain it away in this case. But I do think, though, another small beef, and I'm not going to give anything away, but Emily kind of had a chance to achieve her goals without all the ruckus towards the end, and I'm a little bit surprised she didn't just go ahead and take it. So that's partially also why it's not getting a little higher for me. But it's a 3. It's a solid film with way more than solid acting. So moving on, let's see here. Is it break time? No, not quite. We're going at a good pace. Well, Todd, do we want to take our break early?
Why? Well, do you want to hit your solo and then we'll do a break?
Yeah, that works. Yeah, because we are going faster than normal. So, yeah, I will do my solo. which I gotta be honest, not counting the Pono set because that's a very different thing, but out of our horror movies of the night, I think this is actually the best, and that is Crush the Skull from Breaking Glass Pictures, and from director, God, another one I want to make sure I say his name right. I think it's Viet Nguyen, and I'm pretty sure I said that right, so shoot me if I didn't, but I think I said it right. So from the back cover, Ollie and Blair are a typical fun young couple. They just happen to earn a dishonest living by breaking and entering into upper-class homes. When their last job goes awry, they find themselves having to pull one more last job. Unfortunately for them, the job was set up and planned by Blair's irresponsible, unprepared, hothead younger brother, Connor. Of course, the easy target turns out to be anything but easy. The break-in is no problem, but the crew is immediately trapped inside, unable to break back out. As they explore the house for a solution, it becomes clear that this seemingly beautiful and innocuous home is actually a sadistic torture den, a mind-screwing maze of dead ends and wrong turns with an unseen killer separating them from one another and stalking them from the shadows. Ollie, Blair, and the rest of the would-be robbers now have to fight for their lives. So it doesn't necessarily give this away in the description, but this is actually a horror comedy, and it's quite funny, actually. It combines a heist flick meets Saw/Hostel with, obviously a comedic tongue-in-cheek tone. And it works actually really well. The actors have fantastic chemistry. This is, again, and it's very rare you can say this, but in an indie horror flick, they could have had this cast in a big budget summer movie. They were that good. I think the chemistry was great. They were funny. It's not stupid humor. It's very in particular the first scene where they're breaking into this house and the wife comes home, who it turns out is cheating on the husband. They hide in the closet. Then the husband comes to murder the cheating wife and guy. So there's a lot of really funny. I don't know if I want, not slapstick so much, but a little bit, particularly at the beginning. It was I got some good laughs out of this. It's actually based. There's 2 short films on YouTube, if the name sounds familiar, and this is the feature-length film that actually did quite well on Kickstarter. They raised $75,000 for this, so it's not a micro-budget film by any means. And I really don't have a lot of complaints about this. I will say there were a couple brief scenes of the CG blood, which I'm just seeing like in everything now, so maybe I'm getting used to it. But I really enjoyed it. It's very much suspenseful. It's not a gore flick, because I hope nobody takes the Saw Hostel comparisons that they make on the back cover as well to heart, because if you're looking for a gore fest, this is definitely not it. But it's a very good suspenseful comedic film. Every actor is dead on, and it's a very action-packed finale. It's really a hell of a chase, and there's a couple bits of gore that did fairly well, but not a whole lot of that in this, to be perfectly honest. And this is an indie film done right. I actually highly recommend it. I don't know if they sent this to me before it has come out, so I meant to check Amazon to see if this is available for you guys yet, but if it's not, definitely check it out when it comes out. I was very impressed. And I don't want to say too much more about it, but I would check it out. Todd, I think this is actually one you would have liked quite a bit. I give this one a 4 out of 5. The only thing, like I said again, don't expect like elaborate traps and kill sequences. Expect a suspenseful, comedic heist flick that kind of borrows a little bit from some of those torture porn titles, for lack of a better word. So 4 out of 5. Check it out. Again, it's Crush the Skull. I really, really genuinely enjoyed it. So, Todd, do we have a song this week? I was going to say, I know you meant to do Dolomite the last time. Do we have some Dolomite?
Damn it. I couldn't think if I went with something from Psycho 2.
Not to put you on the spot.
You did. I have a selection from the classic Psycho 2 tonight. So we'll be back in about 4 minutes.
That works.
All right.
Sweet. And we are back, correct, Todd?
Yes, we are.
Todd?
I forgot to. Yes, we are. Can you hear me?
There we go. I hear you. Do you hear me?
I forgot to unmute myself first. It said I was, and it said I wasn't. I don't know, the board. I always blame the board.
I just figured I was disconnected. I was about to call back in, but that's okay. Yes, I was going to say we still owe you guys some Dolomite. We'll get it to you, but hey, it's always good to hear some, not the obvious Psycho themes. So that's always welcome. It's always welcome. So we'll get right back into our reviews because this is the one I saved for last. Not last again for those of you perverts that stick around for Flesh Wound After Dark. We still have the set, but the last non-XXX film for the evening, Sharkansas Women's Prison Massacre from legendary director Jim Wynorski. I'm a B-movie director. You know what? That guy is responsible for so many great memories from my childhood. I'm not even going to just do the typical B-movie director. I love his films. And that was the other bit of news, by the way. Totally makes sense with this. He had a meeting with Lionsgate, and we're getting Chopping Mall on Blu-ray, possibly as soon as fall, I think.
He said summer. The other interesting bit was that apparently Lionsgate's starting some kind of direct thing for cult. I don't know if it's going to be like a shout direct, but they're going to start doing something with their cult titles again, which is very cool. Yeah,
you think it'll be kind of continuing some of this quiet DVD-R, BD-R trend that's going on Amazon, or do you think it'll be pro-pressed?
I think it'll be pro-pressed if it's coming from Lionsgate, especially for Blu-rays. Okay. It seems like, Warner Brothers is going that route. Shout is, other than the one, they said the Big Bad Mama one was like, I don't know, an anomaly or some shit.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm hoping that everybody's not going that route, but although I will say, the longer those titles are out there, they're dropping to like $5.99, $6.99. So it's, the price is right on a lot of them. But yeah, Chopping Mall is coming. That's fantastic news. And Wynorski is the man. And we'll see if this one lives up to that.
I was going to say, so's H.R. Blueberry.
Yes. We can't forget about him. From the back cover, when a fracking mishap accidentally rips apart the Earth's crust, the resulting hole opens up a gaping underground waterway leading to a vast and mysterious subterranean ocean somewhere deep below. Instantly, giant prehistoric sharks begin wending their way upward towards a murky bog in the heart of the Arkansas Bayou. Unfortunately for a group of female prisoners on work detail in the swamp, the deadly sharks attack without warning, pinning a hapless group of potential victims in a small, deserted cabin in the heart of the wetlands. For these wayward women, death may be the only means of escape. Get ready for a wild ride when Dominique Swain and Tracy Lords come face-to-face with the deadliest prehistoric man-eaters nature has ever spawned. So, all right, very eager to talk about this one.
All right.
So in a Jim Wynorski movie that promises sharks and women's prison action, although they're not actually in prison, but still, there are some lesbian tendencies with the characters, and some of them have been in some of the Blueberry productions. You kind of expect shark action and naked babes. This one is pretty light on both. I have a lot to say about it, but Todd, what did you think?
I was expecting Michael Gross and Burt Ward to show up at some point.
Yes.
It felt like the Tremors mutated into sharks.
Yes. Although these sharks, I'm sure, would be eviscerated by the Tremors worms.
Yeah.
The graboids.
There you go. Yeah, I was watching. I was like, Dan's gonna be pissed.
And I think I messaged you about it too.
Yeah. Especially with, the girls he had in there. No strangers to the
Christine Nguyen, some of the recent ones.
And I get it that, you don't need that. Yeah, it was a fucking... Where was the titties?
And they even teased it. I mean, it's got a sleazy sort of B-movie vibe about it, but there's nothing. And in fact, I figured this wasn't going to be like out-and-out softcore porn. I didn't expect that. So I don't mean to
not with Scream Factory,
give the impression... Yeah, not with Scream Factory. I figured this would kind of have some TNA and some cheap B-movie thrills. But even the sharks, I mean, almost every kill is off-screen. I mean, it's very... And I don't know. There were a couple... I got a few laughs here and there. Some of the dialogue was kind of funny. But it's like if I order pancakes and you give me waffles... You know what I mean? It's like, I want some fucking sharks and I want some fucking titties. I mean, it's kind of guaranteed with this director.
And with Women's Prison in the title.
Yes. They should have just called this Shark Kansas, to be perfectly honest. But, yes. And, it's weird, too, because Wynorski has a lot of even recent stuff that's... Where's Piranaconda? Or, you know what I mean? There's some other stuff maybe they could have, picked up, a more standard creature feature. I don't know. This one tried to do, the basic idea is kind of cool. It certainly could have been better than it was, but there's some pretty horrible effects, which you'd expect, but... Where's the gore? Maybe he just figured some of the actual kills in some of these Sci-Fi Channel movies don't work, but with some of the CG. But he could have at least gone for laughs. I mean, that's kind of the tone of this movie. It's not a serious movie. I don't know. Like I said, it's just like ordering a Whopper and it doesn't have the beef patty.
Yeah, I think, I didn't hate, the idea of the script. I think the title and the director, because the whole time I'm like, all right, are we getting tits now? We get tits now? If it would have been anyone else...
Whiplock action. Christine Nguyen, she's game. She'll do it. She's done it for Asylum. She's also done it for Wynorski many times.
Yeah. And the other girl, too. I can't think of her name right now. Cindy
Tracy
Lucas.
Lord.
Wow.
Oh, Cindy Lucas.
She was,
yeah.
I figured she, I don't know. I was just kind of confused.
Those titties had to escape that shirt, that tight-ass shirt at some point, but nope. Shark could have ripped it off. That would have been a good scene. The shark flies through the air and rips her top off. That's what I would have done.
They all had to change out of their prison clothes at one point. Perfect time for a shower.
They did. Yeah. We know Tracy Lords isn't going to come through. She kind of, Tracy, I Love You was the last time. I think she used a body double in one movie, but, yeah.
No.
I didn't expect anything from her.
Not of that, not of this earth.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but didn't she use correct me if I'm wrong, didn't she use a body double? Maybe I'm wrong.
That.
I haven't watched that in a while.
No.
Okay, that was legit. But that was her first legit movie, so she really did it after a while.
And that one was marketed as the last time, too, and she hasn't gone back on that word.
Yeah, that is true. You are. I stand corrected. I corrected you about messing up your black actors. And
I would have let that shoot
You corrected me on titties. What's up with
I
that?
know. It was Tracy Lords.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, and she's kind of, although she was really good in Excision, I was going to say now she's kind of just doing whatever, but she was really good in Excision. But you catch the irony here that Dominique Swain was, you've got Lolita and Tracy Lords in the same movie.
Right.
I thought that was pretty amusing. I had forgotten how many B movies Dominique Swain has been in. She is a busy actress. Take a look at her IMDb. But she was funny. I do want to point out a couple good things. I thought she was really funny. I think when she kept calling Christine Nguyen like egg roll or soy sauce the entire movie, I was kind of waiting for her to get punched. But the characters were really, really good. I mean, it's like you've got this perfect B movie. It's just lacking. Like I said, it's like the beef patty and the mustard. I mean, it's like you kind of have to have it. It just doesn't gel if you don't. I mean, it wasn't a pain to watch this by any means. I think we both called it. It was, it was just. I knew you'd be pissed. You knew I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
But
we knew what was coming to expect from him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, and I figured one or the other. I mean, of course, he has done some creature features and stuff for, sci-fi and cable that don't have the TNA, but you kind of have to have at least one or the other with this blending, and he didn't. And that's the only thing I can think of is it's just another movie that was meant to maybe be on Sci-Fi, although some of the humor is a little more raunchy than stuff I tend to see on Sci-Fi.
Probably on Chiller.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Chiller, obviously. Although I don't remember seeing this advertised, but I don't watch a lot of Chiller, to be perfectly honest. But
I haven't since the channel first launched.
Yeah. I did pre-order that Slasher series. I didn't watch that, but I did pre-order the Blu-ray. But there is some unintentional humor, too, or maybe intentional. I thought it was particularly funny that these female prisoners all were caked in makeup and short shorts. I wish real ladies' prison were like Cinemax ladies' prison, but my brother's a prison guard, and the reality is not our fantasy, unfortunately. So, yeah, what can I say? It just doesn't deliver what it should have delivered, but I'm still being fairly... Should I be generous? No, I really can't, because I give this one a 1. I actually can't really give it a 2, because it just doesn't deserve it for not delivering. The acting is good, I will say that, but that's all I can really say about it. And there were a few laughs, but for the most part, this movie just is false advertising personified.
Apparently I'm a little more generous than you, but in the scope of things, anything below a 3 is not well. I give it a 2. I think I need to watch it again without the fact I'm waiting for something that doesn't happen to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not like you're making Jaws, so, kind of have to have some shark action. Can't just go for suspense.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I still had enough. It's one, I wasn't, bored. I was just waiting for something that didn't happen. So I think I need to see it. No, I'm not going to get to see any titties. I can watch any of Warnowski's other. I'm sure there's something he had handed on tonight on Cinemax.
Indeed. So that is Shark Kansas. We will keep moving right along to our set, which we'll do before Fear the Walking Dead, because this is a big set, and
That's right.
I think we'll have more to say about this just to be safe.
Well,
because I know you have to get out of here for Hellraiser.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Do we want to just run over? I don't have a lot to say about Fear. Just before we alienate some listeners.
We'll Fear the Walking Dead tonight will depend how quickly we get through this set.
Okay,
Fear is going great. I'm loving it, but I don't know if there's anything new for me to talk about this week. So we may get to it, we may not.
I'm the same way. So okay. All right. Let's hit the intro. Bam.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Here's when you're supposed to welcome us to Flesh and After Dark.
You didn't get this theme tonight, did you, in any of the movies?
What? I did not.
I didn't hear it.
No.
And I have to ask you, Todd, is that from a particular porno movie? Because I've heard it before.
Yeah, it's from Debbie Does Dallas.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. I was going to say, I knew it was one of the big ones, and I just couldn't place it. So there we go. So, from the back cover, and we're going to do as much of this as we can. I said part one. I don't know if we'll do a part two or not, because we got through most all of the sets. So from the back cover, the Pono in Los Angeles was one of over 50 storefront feeders operating in the city throughout the early 1970s. Unlike larger competitors like the Pussycat chain, which played big-budget 35mm theaters, storefront venues ran low-budget, grungy 16mm prints, usually running 45 to 65 minutes long. In this first volume of the storefront feeder collection, you will enjoy an uninterrupted 12-hour show of all Los Angeles-made 16mm features and shorts produced between 1970 and 1973, many of which could have played at the Pono. You will experience the mind-bending absurdity of vampires versus TV news in Succula, the downfall of a prostitute and all-American hustler, the intertwining, lust-filled lives of Hollywood's beautiful people in Carnal Go-Round, and the incredible erotic fantasies of a middle-aged film editor and Homer the Latecomer, plus 8 more surprise features and bonus skin-filled short subjects, all which have been newly scanned from rare original 16mm released prints. So, wow, a lot to cover. I will start with one of my favorites, and obviously we're not going to go through them all, but we'll give you guys a good idea. Well, actually, I have several favorites from this. Spoiler alert: I fucking love the set, but you kind of already knew that if you listened to the show. The erotic adventures of Hercules. This is certainly not the greatest Hercules film out there. There's no Lou Ferrigno throwing a bear into outer space. Although, surprisingly enough, the actors are probably just about as good as Lou Ferrigno. This is one that's worth it. I'm a big fan of sword and sandal, sword and sorcery, barbarian flicks of yesterday, the 80s, even going way back to the 50s, 60s. And this one is really funny. Obviously, this is porn. All of these are XXX films. Can't really call them shorts because 45 to 65 minutes, so I kind of consider them all short movies.
There's a few in there that are. There's a few in there that are like 15, 20.
Yeah, that's true. There were a few, but most of them tended to be around that 45 minutes to an hour. And This one opened. I mean, I got so many laughs out of this. I mean, it's shitty, but any movie that opens and the villain's name is King Topar, getting fanned by naked slave girls while getting a blowjob while he's eating a chicken leg, that is badass. King Topar. I don't think any of it was actually his dialogue in this, but King Topar is the shit. In fact, when I'm done, I'm gonna find some way to get an image, which I have no tech skills, so I'm gonna probably rely on Todd to do that for me. But King Topar is getting a fucking Facebook tribute page because Todd, have you ever gotten a blowjob while eating a chicken leg? I haven't, and it's on my bucket list now.
See. I have not.
So that's why we worship King Topar. He gets a Hummer while eating a chicken leg, and then the girl, for some strange reason, spits his load into the golden chalice. It's that type of movie. It's not The Rock Hercules. See, The Rock Hercules would have been better if he got a Hummer while he was eating some chicken, but it didn't happen. The dubbing, the sound, it's terrible, but God, does it work for this. This is fun. Not the sexiest film either on this set, but maybe it's just me. I mean, it's very... Hercules is kind of a pussy. I mean, he doesn't do a whole lot in this. At one point, he kind of molests an unconscious woman on the beach, which isn't very cool. Although in typical old school porn fashion, she wakes up and doesn't seem to mind too much. It's a funny theme in a few of these movies too. Since when is a blowjob torture? Because Hercules kind of seems like he's like in pain as this evil temptress is giving him a blowjob. We need those types of heels in real life because that's pretty awesome. But it
was an evil blowjob.
It was an evil blowjob. She was sucking out his essence. I got a lot of laughs from this one. I mean, you may see it and just think it's stupid, but what can I say? I had a lot of fun with this. And like I said, Hercules basically does nothing. He gets whipped while King Topar has an orgy, and he kind of just ends up at the very end killing the temptress and returning to this beach where I guess he just hangs out. I like this one. I'm not going to get too much more in depth with it, but I really liked it. It's one of the ones on the set. It'll take you a while to get through the set. Although, again, Todd and I did watch many hours of pornography the last couple of days, and this was one of the funniest to me. Todd, do you have one you would like to talk about? I know there were a few we saw that the other didn't. We tried to do it that way on purpose to get as much as we could out there.
There was one I found, it wasn't really humorous, but I found fascinating for other reasons, being a fan of the Mondo genre. I don't know if you got around to checking out Porno Mondo.
I did indeed, yes. We can talk about
Okay. I really, for those who aren't aware, the Mondo craze started with Mondo Candy started, and it seemed like everyone was making a Mondo film. And it was, of course, there had to be a Porno Mondo, which is, structured in the classic Mondo format. Obviously staged. There was the one scene with, I cannot remember, well, I did not take note on actresses' names on this one, I'll be honest, where he's interviewing the performer and then she starts masturbating. I was like, I hope I'm
I would not the sexiest film though. I will say that because it's hard to kind of get a boner when the narrator's like just some bland like middle-aged Republican dude.
Yeah. But it's funny. The most of these, I'm not. You're not watching a lot of these to be sexy. I mean, let's be real.
That's true. There were a couple that delivered on that.
Right, but I mean, when we're checking out a set like this, that's not our intention. I'm like, yeah.
That is true.
Come on.
One of the funnier scenes in this? One of the funniest scenes in this one, because Mondo films are really interesting because I don't think they age well for a lot of people.
No.
Because, of course, back then, everybody thought they were legit. Although, hell, people thought Blair Witch was legit, so we're still very much stupid. But my favorite scene in this was when the porn star was telling that story about the producer's dog licking his balls while he was doing an anal scene. that was particularly humorous. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that we had a Mondo title on here. I can't. I'm trying to think if there was any other similar films that kind of did that with porn. I think there might have been, actually.
Well, of course, there's Russ Meyer's Mondo Topless. Not a porn film, but I'm thinking Triple X.
But, yeah, I mean, this one I thought was fun, particularly if you do like the Mondo films. I mean, obviously, it's not an actual producer. Oh, it might have been, I guess, but probably not talking about the porn business at the time.
Yeah.
But this one was a really interesting timepiece.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some truth in doing it, especially coming from when they're talking to the marketing guys. I'm sure they had to hide some of the stuff they were doing, and or the distributors, I should say. I'm sure they weren't that wasn't the easiest job back then, when porn was different than now. You can't have a shop.
Yeah. There's actually that new show that's coming out with James Franco and Maggie Gyllenhaal about the early hardcore porn days. I think it's the early hardcore porn days. I don't know if they're doing like a 80s but I thought I heard it was early, so I'm thinking like around this time period possibly.
I was going to say that.
So
yeah.
There's different eras that you can kind of do, but I would kind of think this would be the most interesting thing. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know it's coming. Porno Mondo, not my favorite, but it was, like I said, an interesting timepiece. One we have to discuss because there is a certain film legend in it, is Succula, which features the late, great George Buck Flower as the newscaster, and he's also in drag later as one of the reporters. Succula, oh man, this is like so bizarre. It's a newscaster who's covering the vampire siege in Los Angeles, and in between all this, it's spliced with these sort of comedic commercials. The first of which is a lipstick commercial, which features a Burt Reynolds-looking dude getting a BJ from this lipstick girl. I don't know. Who are they marketing that one to, though, Todd? I mean, I don't know. If that commercial were legit, I don't know. I guess I might go out and buy lipstick, though, for that. I mean,
you get it for your mistress. Come on.
There you go. Easy to wash off. Doesn't stain your Johnson. I guess it could happen, but I thought this one was funny as shit and very, very creative. Like I said, you really kind of have to give credit to the guy that came up with this one, because it's very surreal, but hilarious, just fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
The second one is a feminine hygiene commercial, which which features a dildo. I think it was called Peen by Sassoon. One insertion, quoting it, one insertion in the morning keeps you safe and satisfied all day long. In between this ridiculousness, you have George Buck Flower, who, by the way, for people not familiar with his early stuff, was in more than a few XXX features and then some softcore stuff. It's cool to see him. Vinegar Syndrome. He's also in several Something Weird titles as well. And I know you're a George Buck Flower fan. I was very sad when he died.
It's been over a decade now. I didn't know that until I looked it up today. I thought it was more recent. Yes, most people know him as the
been a little bit.
Most mainstream people will know him as the bum from Back to the Future, but he's had a long storied career from Taking It Off to They Live to Succulent.
Wishmaster. He'd sometimes pop up in small roles, but he'd steal the show in these little extended cameos sometimes that he did. And this is it's funny because we were talking about, like, first seeing him, I was like, and of course I knew George Buck Flower had done some of these films, but I'm like, is that? And I was like, yeah, it was. At first I thought he was just somebody that looked like him, but yeah, if you're a fan of his, you definitely want to check this little oddity out. There is also a funny some of the vampire footage that they show. It's kind of silent movie footage of the dorkiest fucking Dracula you've ever seen trying to date rape a girl. Drac goes for the pussy rather than the jugular in this one, which is kind of the joke. And the facial expressions from Dracula in this one were particularly funny. Dracula does seem to be a premature ejaculator, though. I'm just going to throw that out. He doesn't last very long. The funniest one I'm throwing out there, and again, I know we're trying to get to as many as possible, so I won't. This is like the one I could do a standard review on. But the third one, there's a couple in bed. It's a coffee commercial. And the dude, the entire time, is just like, "Fuck your coffee, bitch," and it's just, I don't know, he's like really mean. It kind of glorifies, spousal abuse. I mean, it's just, God, it's such a weird one. And like I said, you get to see George Buck Flower in drag interviewing a descendant of Dracula. And finally, one of the funnier ones, there's a car sales commercial where this guy in these epic sideburns, he's getting a blowjob to this banjo song. And kind of disturbing, the car salesman seems to have a belly button on his dick. It's very weird. It's hard not to notice it. And yeah, this is, yeah. Go back, Todd. I'm not kidding. It looked like some kind of weird growth on his dick. Maybe, I don't know, there's a Henenlotter film there somewhere with this dude. Cause,
Bad biology, too.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe his sideburns can fight the testicular growth he had going on. Yeah. I love this. I would buy this one separately, honest to God. I mean, Vinegar Syndrome, you could have gotten full price for me to buy this separately. Well, which one should we talk about next? There's so many.
Here, let me do one of the smaller ones. I don't know which ones you all watched, so hold on, let me just pull it. There was one. It was a shorter one, I believe. Did you check out Sex Before Marriage?
I did. Okay, well, we did watch, I guess, most of the same ones.
All right, well, what do you think about that one? I mean, basically, guy's about to get married, bangs his future sister-in-law? So it is.
Kind of like bangs everybody and then leaves his bride.
But I mean, yes, this is true. He goes on a banging spree, but the big one is he bangs his sister. Or wait, no, sorry. Soon to be sister-in-law. Wrong genre.
Yes. Well, you gotta love a movie where the chicks are more hairy than the dudes.
Oh yeah, but some of the dialogue in that scene had me busting up.
Yeah, that one was funny. Not again. Did you? I loved the vaginal zoom shot that would make Franco rise from the grave and clap. He would literally just come right out of the grave and just, give him a big thumbs up for that. This one was kind of funny in a more bad porn sense. I mean, he first cheats on her with a dead ringer for Bertha Faye, and obviously he wasn't that into her because he totally mimed eating her out. That tongue never made contact with genitalia. I'm just throwing it out there. They had no chemistry whatsoever. And God, this one did have some funny lines, didn't it? When the one guy who couldn't get a boner to save his life in this thing, and the chick is calling it the best lollipop in the world and calls it a wriggly worm at one point. Yeah. She was kind of berating him a little bit. I think the actor, and she was covering for him, was trying to get it to stand up.
Yeah. There was a few softies here.
Yes. Well, it might have had some. Like I said, the women are unusually homely looking in this one. This was 1970, so this is very early on, and I think they just got who they could get. I think some of them might have been the more fugly looking Manson family chicks, possibly, because you watch this one for the laughs, not the coupling. I wanted a shot at the very end of the wife walking on the side, the bride walking on the side of the road to the Hulk theme, just walking into the sunset.
Hulk.
I felt kind of bad for her. It was very very sad. Yes, I like that one a lot. Well, let's see if we can keep the roll going, because I knew we watched kind of most of the same ones. Did you watch The Big Snatch?
Nope.
The Kind of Rape Revenge?
That one was all you, yeah. I did not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll cover that one real quick because I just have a rant with it, but
you were enjoying that.
So you didn't even have any idea what I was ranting about.
No, it's just cool. I was doing 8 things at once. I didn't want to explain myself.
And we know what at least one of those 8 things were. So, The Big Snatch, this one's actually from director Mark Hunter, who did a lot of these. This one was from 1971. This is kind of I like it. It's kind of a cop-out in the same way, not quite the same way that Shark Kansas was, but they advertise it as a rape revenge flick, and it starts with this mugger who nabs this girl into an alleyway, and pretty much immediately, she's afraid for about 2 seconds, and then she starts going for the guy's dick. And it's kind of like he was rapey, but then he's not into it because she wants to go consensual. I think his line was "Shut up, or I'll tear your tits off" when she's like trying to grab his penis. I've never said that to a girl that tries to grab my penis. I mean, that's just rude. But yeah, they have consensual sex because it's like I said, this isn't really a rape revenge short. But he does, for like no reason whatsoever, beat her up after they're done. And later he finds that she's a part of this gang called the She-Devil Gang that break into his hooker friend Ruby's house and torture them by giving them blowjobs. That's literally what they do. You're thinking like we were even talking East Coast versus West Coast. I mean, if this were like New York, the dudes be getting castrated. But in the West Coast, I guess, tying dudes, well, not even tying the dudes up, just forcing them into the bedroom and having sex with them is somehow like the ultimate revenge. And it proceeds as you would expect it would. There is a little bit of revenge towards the end, I guess. There's a particular line where she's making the guy eat her out, and she says, "That's not bad considering I haven't douched in like 2 weeks." Then she shoots them both in the head. Spoiler alert. We're doing spoilers for these, so, deal with it.
Just summon off.
I did. They wanted to follow this storyline and be surprised, but no. Yeah, that was the line. That line is going on my Facebook, by the way. And if anybody that isn't listening to the show knows what that's from, hey, we gotta be friends. Yeah, I like this one. This one was another one that was just really, really funny, and actually some good-looking girls in this one. The women were very attractive, so it kind of works as a short porn flick as well. So moving on, Todd, do you have another one?
A lot of the other stuff, nothing really jumped out at me. Orgy in the Woods was pretty much what it was said, just some sex scenes in the woods. I want to say that was a
it delivered.
40-minute. Yeah. Erotic point of views when I watched, there's nothing. Did you check that one out?
Say that again?
Erotic point of view.
That one I did not. That was one of the few that I did not get to.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It was just standard stag fare. Swinging Playboy. Did you check out Swinging Playboy?
No, I don't think I did. No, that I didn't. I did see Shot on Location, which was funny. Did you see that one?
No, I did not. Swinging Playboy.
Yeah, I know we were kind of.
Yeah, going the other way. Swinging Playboy is notable because, well, it's basically the guy starts off, he's talking to some chick on the phone. He's honestly, he's in the tub getting ready for a lady to come over, talking to another chick on the phone. Brings a blonde over, and then bags her. Brings a brunette over, has to put her in another room, and then just goes on for, a few other girls. And then
musical chairs of fucking.
Yes, basically, it's the Hardcore Three's Company episode. And
there is a feature-length porn of that one.
Right, I'm sure, but it's weird because while they're screwing, some of them are like obviously not penetration shots. Some are they're just I don't know. It's weird. And then for some reason, the two main girls finally, they bust out the three-way at the end because one catches the other, and as happens in all porn, she's all like, ooh, so jumps in. And then all of a sudden another couple comes up and are watching at the door But it's notable because it's just John Holmes and some chick, and they just show his giant cock, and that's it.
Why can't real life be like that? There's so many scenarios on this set where you would just get the shit beat out of you, or, you know, have all your shit on the front lawn, but not in 70s porn. Just saying. We've said it before. I don't know. I've always said 42nd Street, golden era, if I had a time machine, but I would probably go back to early 70s Los Angeles. Yeah, you're not quite old enough to remember that, Todd. You just wish you were just a little bit older, and you could have. Puberty time in 70s LA, where everything goes. Well, we have time for probably one last one that I think probably warrants discussion. Just kind of going over a couple real fast. All-American Hustler, that was one of the more kind of serious ones. Homer the Latecomer, that's another one they put on the cover, worth checking out. But I did watch Shot on Location, which actually the print looked pretty good on that one, and it's a pretty funny parody of the film industry. One I recommend you watch, Todd, because it's another one that's really good for some laughs. And a couple pretty funny gags in this one. It's got a brief, gratuitous workout scene, which we're both fans of. A porn staple that is still a porn staple to this day, the pool boy getting some action with the lady of the house. Maybe this was one of the first ones that did that. Who knows? And there's a lot of industry humor that I thought was funny. You have this farm girl who's auditioning for this sleazy producer, kind of doing the casting couch thing. And then there's that very uncomfortable moment where she says she's only 14 and talks about how her paw sucked on her titties. It's very it kind of gets to that point where the movie becomes disturbing. Of course, it doesn't stop the guy, but it's got some very. I mean, the lady looks like she's about 35, so it's obviously not true. But you do get some inappropriate sex talk about her being 14, and this movie gets even more offensive because she's auditioning for this Western themed cowboys and Indians porno, and this is just one of those ones again where just everything goes, everybody's cheating on each other. There's some lesbian action, and at one point where they're shooting the movie, there's actually a line where she tries to save the white guy who's going to get burned and says, "Sacrifice me for the brave white man with a boomstick." So we know where Bruce Campbell got the phrase, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
And I will say this: when in the Wild West did they have an air mattress? Because the lesbian scene was on an air mattress, and I'm calling bullshit on that because I do not believe we had air mattresses in the Wild West. I'm just saying. And on that note, I know we're running out of time, so we can't get to them all. But no surprise, this gets 5 stars from me. I mean, if you eat this stuff up like I do, I mean, this set is amazing. Great for parties too, you know, because it's such a great theme disc where you can kind of just, well, it's 3 discs, but you can kind of put them in and it just runs continuously. One that would be good for a bachelor party, I feel. Even if you're not familiar with some of these, they're so funny. So funny.
Yeah.
Todd, I think I know where you're going with it too,
yeah,
but what say you?
Absolutely. It's a 5. I mean, you can have a party, have a Pono party.
Yes. For your not easily offended friends.
I think this will be our new UEW pre-show.
There you go. Yes. There's, you know, a lot of sexism, some racism. There's like pretty much everything in this one. And you know, again, if you're not familiar with this and you stick around wondering, what the hell do these two guys watch, you may really enjoy this one too. This is a great set, and obviously they don't overstay their welcome too. So, they're not very long, and you'll get a lot of entertainment value out of this. I think Vinegar Syndrome just does a fantastic job, and I cannot frickin' wait for Volume 2. So on that note, I know you have to go. We will be back next week. Be sure to download us on iTunes and Stitcher as well, so you don't always have to rely on Blog Talk, which I know can be kind of 50-50 for people. Tune into the calling hours
when it returns.
When they return, and what else do I have to plug? I don't know exactly what we're doing next week. I know it's a slow release day, but I think we have a lot of stuff, so I think we'll finally have Felicity. I think I can call that one because I do have that now, and we'll have that for Flesh Wound After Dark. And I don't know, Todd, anything else that I missed?
No, just remember, Thursday nights, Flesh Wound Radio, Hellraiser Radio makes a great double feature. On that note, I'm going to go run off and join the Hellraiser team, and we'll be back next week. Good night.
See you guys next week. Good night.
It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all taught,
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid.